Yo, what's up guys? Back with another draft analysis, this time between G2 and Weibo Gaming. The game was super spicy, but I think the draft was probably the most stable part of it. So let's get into it. So kicking off the pick ban here. Oh, I'm in front of you guys. Alright, so starting things off, there's still been a lot of Kalista priority, even though we haven't been seeing it be very successful. And the only thing to keep in mind here with a couple of the bans is that we've been seeing a lot more Draven priority, we've been seeing a lot more respect for the Draven against Hansama this time. And there's been a lot of Poppy bans actually. This could be because of a lot of the potential combos with a lot of junglers and as well as supports right now. So a lot of champions are getting left out. Whole field's pretty much open here. No surprise if G2 goes for something safe like Orianna. And it's up to Weibo to really decide what priority picks they want to go for here. If we recall, I do have a Worlds drafting sheet as this goes on. So things that are potentially open are like Lee Sin. I guess Azir is a decent answer into the Orianna. It's an okay matchup, but basically says nothing, right? We have things like Rakan open. The whole AD pool is open, so if teams are still prioritizing that, Renekton's available as well. There's a lot of different directions that Weibo can take this. Instead, they immediately slam the Vi, which is indicating that, hey, we're just gonna go in on you guys. We're just about to slam this. It's normally not something that's commonly done because you're supposed to hedge your cards as much as possible in the draft, but it could be because Weibo understands that Orianna comps within competitive at Worlds level are pretty much one and the same for the most part. They're going to be pretty front to backy, so the Weibo has just decided, let's just use our LPL blood, let's get in there early, and let's decide what we want to do. The Draven ban also supplements this, Draven Kalista, because this essentially opens up the Kai'Sa opener. It's normally not allowed, but hey, it is what it is. And I believe G2 respond here with the Xayah, Rakan, B2, B3. So very strong lane presence in comparison. Other options here that I think are still underutilized are things like Ezreal Karma or Ashe combos, things of that nature. You could go like Ashe Renata in this case, or even go backwards with like the Braum combos in this case, because it's very clear that enemy is going forward already. There's no need to really know that. There's no need to really hide that at this point. Xayah Rakan is a pretty good answer because the Xayah stocks essentially go up in this case since we see Vi, plus the Xayah Rakan combo is matching up fair into the Kai'Sa and the Vi as well. So it's a pretty strong opening 3 for G2 in my opinion. Very solid opener with the Orianna, of course, very classic, and then Xayah Rakan contextually is strong here. I've mentioned previously that it's not like incredibly powerful, or it's like overrated rather, but in this situation specifically, I think it is a good move by G2. So G2 have a lot of options here because they're just missing jungle top, and they just need, but it's relatively clear what they're going to go for, right? They're going to pick some random facilitator jungle. There's things like Lee Sin open, Maokai, Sejuani. Oh, Maokai's banned, my bad. Things like Maokai and Rel are still available. Sejuani's still available, and top side, they're probably going to pick a frontliner, right? Because their resources are indicated towards bot side. It is possible that Weibo still invest resources into Kai'Sa, even though it's kind of hard for them to win this matchup, especially with G2 banning 2 more supports here. But Weibo want to keep their options open. So they ban Renekton, and they'll probably ban, my likely guess is they'll probably ban another top laner because the jungle pool is all the same. Lee Sin's an okay ban too, but the main bans you're looking for if you're on Weibo are champions that cannot be blinded here on the B4, B5, because more than likely Weibo is going to use their top their R5 on top here. Kai'Sa, there's only so many combos you can really go for here, right? There's going to be some other level of engaged champion. They have Vi. They just want someone to continue up the pacing, right? So we'll see what Weibo goes on for here. But overall, we understand what the draft dynamic is going for. G2, opportunity for them to draft even more backwards, play champions that completely are defensive, and really prevent Weibo from going in on them. They actually go for a Cassandre on 4 here, which to me indicates that they have a very spicy support R5 ready. This is very abnormal in this case because, as I mentioned, there's really not many Kaisa combos, right? So like, it's like, what are they cooking here? They could be cooking some insane support pick. I have no idea. They go Yone for once. G2, this is their chance. They actually pivot. So as much as they can play backwards here, like I mentioned, they don't give a damn. They can actually go forwards too. This is totally an option, right? It's just that how teams want to play it. They could have determined that it's because of the Azir matchup here that they can actually pivot and get a favorable matchup at the same time. So that's why they went for this plus the rel. The rel is no surprise. It's really just to facilitate. But you see where the angle is potentially coming from. Oh, my bad. Right. It's Yone top, not into Azir. It's a good matchup for Azir as well. It is possible for them to lane swap as well here, but they're not going to do that, right? But G2 is not a team that wants LPL teams to play on their grounds, right? So in a sense, while the draft is like quote unquote even, they are manipulating the draft to formulate the playstyle of the game in their favor. If this makes sense. It's because as much as you want to pick the best champions and the best, slot at here and there, there's also the element of understanding that teams have specific playstyles and they excel in different scenarios. And G2 decide they want the draft to be extremely chaotic. Screw it. We're going to mash the LPL aggression. We're going all in, baby. That's what we're going for. So it's a really cool pivot from them here. Right? And they actually have... This draft is good for them because overall, they have winning matchups across the board. Right? They do have some issues if like early game goes south. It's really hard. I would say it's pretty hard for them to play, especially with the Yone. It does need to make sure it's like coddled in the early game. But overall, it's a really good idea. Right? Draft is all about these pivots, holding in, biding your power until the very last moment, and then you can all in like this. So hopefully this was a good lesson on what teams are prioritizing and how they affect their playstyles based on draft. I think Weibo kind of let themselves open here with the Vi pick, right? They just see an Orion and B1. It doesn't really say anything, but they want to just shift the draft to be a forward direction. They want to be the ones calling the fights. G2 say, you know what? We're not going to let you do that. We're going to call our own fights as well. So this is like they're responding in kind. Anyways, that's going to be it from this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the analysis. I'll catch you in the next.